Hello, welcome to a new video of Dynasty War. In this video, I'll talk about Guo Jia, specifically his skill. But before we talk about that, let's talk about the partnership first, because his partnerships are very important. The first one gives him 29% extra HP, which is probably the most difficult partnership to satisfy because it requires 4 other heroes, 2 6-star, 1 5-star, and 1 4-stars. So that is a bit more difficult to get, and it gives you probably the most, 29% HP. However, the second one gives you 27% damage, which only requires a 7-star Jiang Wei, and Jiang Wei is a common 7-star, which a lot of people will have. So his damage partnership is probably the easiest to, well, it's not the easiest, but one of the easier to get. The last one gives you 14% HP, which is the easiest one to get. You only need a 4-star hero, which if you didn't rush your 7-star hero, you probably will get most of your 4-star hero anyways. So he only has 1 damage partnership, and that is why that is important. Because in his skill will be affected by the damage partnership, and if without that, his skill is very weak. But with that, his skill, the damage that he does in his skill is decent enough and good enough to be relevant in most stage of the game. So what his skill does is release 6 frost, causing 1225 damage each, and freezing enemies or buildings in the range. This will last 10 seconds at level 10. However, I think at level 0, it starts with 6 or 7 seconds. So it starts with a very high amount of seconds compared to maybe Pong Tong. He starts with like 2 or 3 seconds, and at max he only go up to like 5 or 6 seconds. That's because his skill is passive and GuoJia's skill is active, so you can actually choose when to use this, and it will last for a long time. 10 seconds, maybe if you didn't get his skill all the way up, it's 7, 8, 9 seconds. That's still a lot. That is a lot of time for you to attack and destroy the buildings that will target your heroes. And specifically, this is the Purgatory Tower, because freezing the Purgatory Tower is very important, no matter if it's in the beginning of the encounter or during the encounter, because once you freeze the Purgatory Tower, it stops its attack, and once it's unfreeze, the Purgatory has to restart the attack, which starts the damage from the lower point again. So GuoJia is useful in that way, and however, his damage is not enough to one-shot a level 1 Purgatory Tower. Not until level 10 skill. A level 9 skill, his damage is a little bit lower than 1200. A level 1 Purgatory Tower has 1200 HP. So in order to one-hit it, you need to have at least 1200 damage, which you can do with a level 10 GuoJia. But specifically in this video, I want to talk about the technical side of his skill. The 6 eyes frost that he drops on. Where do they land, and what is the chance of hitting a building twice, and what is the chance of hitting a certain building, and how can you use it effectively, which I'll talk about now.
So I've done some experiments on GuoJia's skill. I tested with a bunch of walls, and right here the purple triangle is GuoJia's facing his target, which is the number 1, the star label is number 1. Obviously his skill will obviously hit the building that he is targeted at, and that will be the first block of ice, the first frost that will hit. However, that's where it will hit, but the damage dealt is not always at that location. And with this Excel spreadsheet, I can show you where what the damage that is dealt from each one is at. Obviously, I've done only like about 10 to 20 tries, and you can from here you can get a general sense of where the damage will be dealt. And then the second ice will be right here, which is 3 tiles to the right and 3 tiles in the front of his original target. So this 0-0 target is the target, and each unit is each tile relative to the building that he is targeting at. So this will be where the second frost hits, and then the third one will be right here, and then 4th, 5th, and 6th. This is always true for GuoJia. This is the correct order that it will hit, and it does make a difference because if you're aiming at something, let's say you're aiming a Purgatory Tower at the 6th frost position, it will take about 2 seconds until that ice falls on the building and freeze it, compared to if the Purgatory Tower is maybe at this at this position, at the second position, it will hit the Purgatory Tower like half a second after you activate the skill, because that ice will fall on there, and then the frozen effect will apply, and the damage will apply. So it does make a difference where the orientation of Guo Jia's skill compared to the location of the buildings. And obviously, as you can see, his skill is more orientated toward the left side, because on the left you get more damage and more ice falling on, and you get a farther range on the left. And you can see I label the damage dealt to each tile for each block of ice. And obviously, so the first one, even though it hits right here, the animation, when I label these parts, these locations of the stars is the animation of the ice. That does not mean the damage is dealt on that position. So this ice block could deal damage up to this location, and this location, and this location, very far away, 2 to 3 tiles away, and each ice will deal damage to about 2 to 3 tiles. So even if this ice falls on here, it could do damage to this tile and this tile. So that is something to consider. And that is why sometimes two buildings very close to each other, they can be destroyed or be damaged with one single ice. And as you can see, this one, the second one, can go very far. The damage can be dealt to a very far location, and it could be a random combination. Maybe one damage could be dealt to right here, one could be right here, and one could be right here. So it's very difficult to say where it will always hit, but you can get a general idea of where they will hit. So you can get very far from your original target, all the way up to 7 tiles behind the original building, and all the way 7 tiles to the left of the original target. And it could be in closer to GuoJia as well. So it could be about at most 6 tiles closer to GuoJia than the original target. And GuoJia doesn't have to be standing right here. He could be all the way behind. It doesn't matter, as long as he's targeting the building and there's nothing in the middle to obstruct him. Especially wall. Sometimes you place GuoJias down. The indicator will say that, oh, he's targeting this building, but if he cannot find a way to walk to it and auto attack, that means he will walk to some place and hit a wall. And when you activate the skill at that time, the skill will target the wall instead of the actual building. So that is something you have to be careful with. So right here, I put circles around a couple points. Those are the points that are most likely to be hit by 2 ice blocks. So you can do double the damage to that one building. And in my opinion, in the beginning, you use GuoJia to free certain buildings to do some damage to snipe a building. But later, you really want to know where and how you can do 2 times the damage to one building. You want to do more damage to a certain building, to a certain area. You want to make sure that you can target that, or at least know where this will happen. Obviously, these areas around these points might have the chance to, because here this rectangle block is, if I can grab it, okay, it's a building. So let's say if you're looking at a headquarter, it's a 4x4, so it's about like this big. So if you're looking at a headquarter right here, this is very likely that you will hit at least 2 ice blocks on it. And if you're looking at something smaller, most buildings are 3x3, so they look like this. If the building is like right here, you have a very high chance that this building will take 2 ice block and have a lot of damage dealt to it, compared to maybe the building is, compared to if the building is right here, you may only have 1 chance to hit it, or even it will completely miss it, because there is only a little bit of damage, a chance of the damage being dealt there. So this, you can see that GuoJia skill is very useful if you can plan it accordingly and know where to put it. Some locations, according to my experiments, you can actually do 3 ice blocks to it, but obviously that is very rare, and it is also dependent by chance. You can't control this. You can only it only depends on the randomness that will happen during the skill. So this is it for GuoJia's technical side of the skill. And this is it for this video as well. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.